Hey everybody, my name is Andy and welcome to the channel. So what today's video is about is the Ford F-150 Ecoboost Longevity. Now I have a lot of F-150 videos up on my channel and a lot of them is me not talking so greatly about the F-150, especially the Ecoboost. Now I have owned the Ecoboost and I've also owned the 5.0 Coyote F-150 as well. I own the Coyote first and then the Ecoboost. And for the new people, I'll give you a short reason on why I don't. The Coyote had a lot of electrical issues. The Ecoboost I had suffered from the condensation in the intercooler, and when you went to pass somebody and it dropped down a gear, it sucked that condensation up in the engine, throw it in the limp mode. Now I want to say this is not the spot that I wanted to shoot this video, but it is pouring down rain, so the couch it is. But my brother-in-law owns a Ford F-150 Ecoboost. It is a 2011. Now, I have known he's owned this vehicle for a very long time, almost since it was new. I mean, he bought it just shortly, maybe 2012 or 13. It didn't have a lot of miles on it when he got it, but since he's got it, he has put a lot of miles on his truck. Now, I do want to say it is somewhat without problems. And why do I say somewhat? He did experience the issue that I had with mine, and several of you have had with yours, where the intercooler condensated and it sucked up water and threw it into limp mode. He took it to a mechanic and they drilled a hole in the bottom of the intercooler. Now, I am not telling you guys and gals to go drill holes in the bottom of your intercooler. I can't remember if it was a 16 or an 8th. I think he said an 8th, but I can't remember what size hole that is. And I'm not telling you guys to do it, and in no way, shape, or form am I even condoning doing that, for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to void your warranty. If you have any warranty left on your truck, it'll void it, especially on the turbo and the intercooler and stuff like that, because you have now altered an OEM part by drilling a hole in it. I know there are lots of videos out here on YouTube and the internet about people doing this. There are reasons I did not do that to my truck. When Ford said it was fixed, I traded it for my Tundra and I did not alter it. The second reason, you are now taking liability for your vehicle. Now, I'm not dogging at his truck. This is not what this video is about. I'm just telling you why I didn't do that. I know people say this fixes their truck, and when we get into his truck, you're going to see it probably does. But the second reason I didn't was now you take liability. If you have an accident, let's say the hole you just drilled got clogged up. Something got in there, clogged it up, mud flew up on the bottom of it, whatever it may be, it got clogged up. It condensated, sucked that water up in the engine, threw it into limp mode, you had an accident. Somebody got seriously injured. We hope that doesn't happen, but this is hypothetical. Somebody got seriously injured. Ford is no longer liable for this because you have altered that part. They are now going to say you altered this. If you hadn't have, that wouldn't have happened. They're going, anytime you give a dealership a reason to come up with an excuse to not pay money, they're going to take it. So I did not chance that in any way, shape, or form. So when Ford said they got mine fixed, I got rid of it. But back to his truck. They drilled that hole in there. He has never had that problem since. Now, you have to be in the correct, circumstances for this to happen, but he's not had that problem. His truck is now rolling over 240,000 miles. A lot of people have said that these trucks have plastic internals. I don't know about that. I never did get inside the engine of my truck, but I have heard mechanics on here say they've taken the oil pan off and stuff like that. I don't know what's in there. I'm just going by what I've heard, but I've heard they've got some kind of plastic internals somewhere. And also I've heard people talk about the life expectancy of a turbo. And life expectancy of a turbo, or at least years ago when I had turbo vehicles, was around 80 to 100,000 miles. I'm not sure what they are now, but he is still on stock turbos. His turbos are bone stock. He's never had anything done or anything like that to the truck, period, that I know of, other than just drilling that hole in the intercooler, and he didn't do that. He actually had someone do that. So, he's had no issues. Now, he just took this truck to Texas and back he owns his own business. I don't know what he said he was hauling. He didn't tell me what he was hauling, but he said there was a lot more weight on the trailer than it should have been. And he took it to Texas from Tennessee and then back from Texas to Tennessee. And he's actually used to live in Texas, so he's made that trip several times in his truck, which is where a lot of these miles came from. Now, I know they say highway miles really doesn't affect a truck or a vehicle as much as stop and go traffic, and that is probably true, but that is still a lot of miles on a turbo engine. So as far as longevity of the engine, maybe I was wrong. Mine was having a lot of issues. I was pretty mad about it. I've never really talked about longevity, but I just assumed hearing what people talked about it, like the plastic internals and knowing that turbos will go out. And that's not an if thing, that's a when thing. Turbos run off exhaust gas. They get extremely hot. He doesn't have a turbo timer on that truck, and a turbo timer is a device that when you cut off your vehicle, your turbo stays running at a slower rate and allows that turbo to cool down for 2-3 minutes, and then it cuts off, and it doesn't just lock that turbo up, while it's so hot. So it allows your turbos to cool off is what it does. And he doesn't have one of those on his truck. So every time he's cut that truck off, it's cut off right then. It's not allowed those turbos to cool down. And it's still going at 240,000 miles. That is amazing. Now, I do want to say his truck is not without issues. As far as the running part of the truck, the running gears, the engine, stuff like that, it is in perfectly good shape. He has no issues with it. The problem with his truck is, now we live in Tennessee and he used to live in Texas. The bottom of the truck underneath the door is rotted out. Now, it is rusted very, very bad. And I'll add a picture of that right here. The problem with that is, and the way how he was showing it to me, was the piece of rubber gasket that seals the door was actually hanging down through the bottom of the floorboard, out the bottom of the truck. It was completely rusted, completely out. Don't know exactly what caused that. He's had that truck for many, many years. We don't get bad snowstorms here. You never see vehicles in Tennessee and probably Texas, if I was guessing, that have horrible rust issues, and his does. Now, like I said, that's not totally what this video is about. I did want to throw that out there. I did want to show you a picture of that because I don't know what caused that. He still drives that truck daily, even with those rust issues. He was asking me how I thought I could fix it or how it could be fixed. And I really don't know, other than cutting that whole section out, which is from the front door all the way to the back door. Basically, the whole cabin part of the truck, the whole cab part, is rusted out underneath the doors on both sides. So the only way I know how to really fix that would be to cut that out, re-weld all that back in, fiberglass it up, and repaint it, which would probably cost a lot of money, if I was guessing, to have a professional body shop do that. But his truck is still running. Could I have been wrong about the Ecoboost engine? Possibly. I know a lot of you people have had a lot of problem with that. Like I said, I've heard it in the comment section. I had issues with mine. He has had very good luck after he had those holes drilled. Another thing I want to discuss is, when the Ecoboost engine came out, I'd never dreamed that it would catch on like it has. I mean, that thing is outselling V8s by a lot. I mean, Ford is like even cutting back production on the V8 engines for their trucks because of how good the sales are on the Ecoboost. So if we take that into the Tundra, and the rumors that we have on the Tundra coming up is it could have electric motors, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't like that idea. I like my 5.7, it's reliable. It'll never work. But I never thought the Ecoboost would work either. And Ford made that work, and now it is one of the top selling trucks. So if Toyota puts those engines, the electric motors and stuff in their truck, they very well could likely make this work as well. Will the longevity be there like my brother-in-law's Ecoboost? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, I might be conceding a little bit, that I might have been a little bit wrong about the EcoBoost engine. Let me know in the comments section. Do you own an EcoBoost? Have you had issues with it? No matter what that issue is, no matter how minor it is. How many miles have you got on your truck? And how long have you owned it? What year is it? Because I know the newer ones have baffles in there at shut that's supposed to stop that condensation. So let me know in the comments section. This isn't a Ford bashing video. I know a lot of mine is. That isn't what this is about. This is about a little bit of eating crow that maybe that engine's doing pretty good. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.